Geez, I had some technical difficulties before. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay, buddy. I was thinking, I was hollering into Kimmy. I was like, man, I can't seem to get in here. What's going on?
Oh, that's crazy. I'm so sorry. What about now? Are you able to hear me now or no?
Yeah, I got you.
You can? Okay, great, great, great. Sorry so much for that. I really
That's
appreciate
okay,
you.
brother. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Well, I sure do appreciate you being here.
Well, it's
And
my pleasure, brother. Man, I'll tell you, Johnny, I do appreciate you, brother, and I think it's amazing with what you're doing out there, man, especially here on YouTube. I think it's fantastic, man. We
oh,
need to
thanks
do
so much.
everything we can do to keep chicken picking guitar alive, brother. You know.
Well, and chicken picking guitar is one of my favorite things.
Mine too.
You know, I told you the other day, the first time that I ever heard you play or saw you play, I was 13 years old, and I was down in Nashville with my dad for the Summer NAMM show.
You're making me feel old, boy. I'll tell you that.
No, I'm not trying to. I promise.
No, it's all good, brother.
You know, and it just absolutely blew me away. You know, it's my first time in Nashville. You know, we're walking down the street. We had just been to Jack's Barbecue. My dad.
One of my favorite places on the planet.
You and
As
me,
you can tell.
That's right. Best barbecue on the planet, if you ask me.
Buddy. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Those folks at Jack's Barbecue kept this old boy going when I moved to Nashville because obviously, man, I didn't have any money and I was just trying to, play and keep my gigs going. And so I'd go into Jack's every once in a while and be like, man, and I just you could smell it down the street, And, but I'd go in, man, and sometimes they'd hook me up. They'd hook me up with a plate, man. And boy, I'll tell you what, the picking got better when Jack's Barbecue fed you. I'll put it that way.
That does not surprise me at all. You know, it's
good people.
You got to eat well in this world, you know.
Yes, sir. But on top of that, you got to have energy to play well, man. It's just truth.
Yeah, that's very true. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You know, and so my dad had been to Nashville a few times before that, starting in 1994. You know, and for the NAMM show and all that stuff. You know, but then you know, he told me the best bands are always at Robert's Western World, you know.
Yeah, buddy.
And so as soon as we were done eating at Jack's, it's about like 7:30, 8 o'clock maybe.
Yep.
Or something like that, and so we go next door to Robert's. Now I'm 13 and they won't let me in the place basically.
Right.
Because it's like a Thursday or a Friday night or whatever.
Sure.
And so they let us stand in the door, and you're standing there, we're standing right next to you. You were always, like right by the door, as I remember.
Yep. My spot on the stage was right by the door, man. Yep.
And it just absolutely blew me away. I'm seeing you play that Telecaster, and I was a Danny Gatton fan already, and man, oh man, I can't even tell you.
Well, brother, I appreciate that because, and I have to say to everybody that's watching us, man, when I moved to Nashville, I played at a little place called the world famous Turf, which used to be across the street and down toward the arena ways. And then we had that massive tornado in 1998. And I thought, oh my gosh, man, that literally the world famous Turf blew down. I mean, that's how bad the tornado was. And so I started working with a girl named Christy Quick over at Legends Corner. And then what was funny is I had met Ronnie Lutrick, who played bass for Don back in the Turf days. And he brought Don over to hear me. And, when Red Vocart got the Merle Haggard gig, Don actually offered me the gig. And to be honest with you, man, I had already done a few things with Don, got to sit in with him play, and so we got to know one another. But Don Kelley has really been the man in Nashville to really give all of us guitar players, or guitar slingers, I guess if you'd put it that way, a chance to really have fun in town, where we could play in a 4-piece band where there's no fiddle, no steel guitar, no this, no that. It's all guitar in your face all night long.
Yeah.
And everybody, like when the Opry would come to the Ryman, in the winter times, it was great, man. Cause Jack Green would come in and do, Statue of a Fool and Rhonda Vincent. I got Vince Gill on my shirt today, man. He'd come in and watch me play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, so it was amazing to have icons of country music come into Roberts to hear us play. And my career literally started because Gary Chapman walked in one night to Roberts and said, "Boy, I want to get you on Primetime Country," which was obviously all over the nation, on TNN.
Oh yeah.
And, on television. And so he said, "But," I said, "Man, that'd be awesome, man. But I don't have a record out. I'm not really a quote artist in Nashville. I'm a guitar picker." He said, "Well, boy, come over to the Ryman Auditorium, man." He said, "I got a show that I do over there. That's a gospel show." And he said, "But I'd love to get you up to do That's All Right, Mama there." And I'm like, "On a gospel show, really?" But man, I'll tell you what, he brought me out, and the first thing that happened, brother, on this gospel show is I dropped my pick and went, "Oh shit!" And everybody in the house heard me, and so they all get to laughing. But I got out there, man. I played the song, and I got my first standing ovation in Nashville at the Ryman.
Oh, holy cow!
And so, actually,
amazing.
what was so cool is the president of the Grand Ole Opry at the time was in the front row and got to see that happen. And so he invited me to headline the Opry after that. Yeah. And
cool.
so my whole guitar artist career started from playing down at Robert's Western World with Don Kelley. And like I said, man, those Don Kelley days, I mean, man, if it weren't for me playing Roberts, I would have never met my wife, Kimmy.
Really?
No.
Really? Tell me about that. I'm sure everybody's going to want to hear that.
Buddy, she would come in. She was a massive BR549 fan. And she would come down every weekend to hear BR5. Well, we played right before they did.
Oh,
okay. we played 6 to 10. BR5 played 10 to 2 or 3 in the morning, based on how packed the house was, which for them was outside the street. I mean, their audience was just huge. But we played 6 to 10 right before them, and so she would come down to see BR5, and she was also friends with Jesse Lee Jones, who now owns Roberts. And
oh, cool.
But I would have never met Kimmy if I had not taken Don's gig and played there for 5.5, 6 years. And but wow. It was very funny, man, because I thought she had a crush on somebody else in the band. and what was crazy is a good friend of mine named Roy C. Burns, man, we used to go to boat shows in Nashville because I love going fishing. And yes, a blind guy fishing, that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Roy came out one night when we were on break at Roberts, and he said, "Hey, man, put this number in your phone." And I thought he was giving me a new number for himself. But he said, "No, this number's for Kim Hart, and she's sitting in Roberts there." And I said, "Wait a minute, Kim?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, boy, she ain't going to hurt you that bad." And he said,
"Little did you know she's going to marry you someday."
Well, and I said, "Man, I just signed a record deal with Steve Vai's label. I'm on the road all the time. I've got a, signature guitar out. I mean, dude, I'm slam busy right now. And I don't know." I said, "Man, I wouldn't want to hurt nobody from being in this business, because yes, it's a lot of hype. Everybody thinks just because you're in the music business, you make a lot of money. Well, that's not true. Especially if you play guitar, the guitar world doesn't really pay all that well. But
it's actually extremely easy not to make money as a guitar player.
You got that right, brother. Yeah. But anyway, I thought, man, I just don't want to hurt anybody. But I come home off the road one time, and my roommate was on the road playing guitar for Red Akins, and he was gone.
Oh, cool.
And so I called her one night, and I just said, "Hey, Kimmy," I said, "a little bird got in my ear and told me that, that you've been too scared to come up and talk to me at Roberts." And I said, "Girl, I don't know what's up with that." I said, "because I'd carry on a conversation with a tree stump." So I said, "Girl," I said, "give me a shout back." And man, we ended up going to Tower Records one night, hitting the movie and grabbing some dinner, and the rest is history, buddy. In fact, this coming Wednesday, we will celebrate 20 years of marriage.
Really? Congratulations.
That's Thank amazing. You, brother. Yeah, wow. I got to be honest, man. My eyes look like raccoons today. I didn't sleep a wink last night. Number one, to jump on here and see you again, brother. But number two, is getting prepared for the anniversary coming up Wednesday. So old Johnny boy had to go to the jewelry store yesterday. A lot of fun. Yeah.
Those are fun trips.
Yes, they are, man. Celebrating
from time to time, but
yeah, I mean, this year, man, I hit 50 in January, and now Kimmy and I are celebrating 20 years on April 2nd. So this has been an amazing year so far, man. It's been crazy.
It's been an amazing year. Yeah. Happy belated birthday, first of all. I'm sorry that I missed it. But
that's all good.
The big 50 is a biggie. That's awesome.
It is, brother. It is. Awesome. Yeah. So you were 13, and you remember what year it was you saw me at Roberts? Was it
That was 1997.
Okay, I was 22 years old then.
Were you? Oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
So I got some age on you, brother. I get that. It's
Well,
all
but
good.
that's okay. You know, it's a lot of wisdom and a lot of guitar skill that I'm never gonna have.
Oh shoot, buddy. Well, like I said, man, I thank the good Lord every day for Don Kelley, man, and what he did for me, because it really changed my life. I mean,
I bet.
I adore him. And matter of fact, last summer, Roberts celebrated a big anniversary, and so we did this tribute to Don Kelley.
Oh,
Which,
nice.
man, it was so hot out there, man. We played outside, and it was myself and Red Vocart, Brent Mason, JD Simo. Actually, Guthrie didn't make it that night. Daniel Donato, and there was a few others. But man, it was like
Wow.
it was like 110 degrees on that stage, and I didn't play worth you know what, brother. It was awful.
I think on your worst day, you're still doing way better than
Oh, I don't know about
99% of
that,
us on
boy.
our very best day, like when it all comes together for
But
us. Trust me.
that was so amazing to get to see Don after all those years. Because I left
Well,
Roberts Kimmy and I were married in 2005. So between 2003 and 2004, I was still doing a few sit-in gigs, but I had handed the gig over at that point to Guthrie Trapp.
I'm trying to think now. Don Kelley had a picker named Jason Jordan for a little while
He
there
did,
around
yeah.
like
Jason
2000 and
Jason
stuff.
did a few. I think
Yeah.
Jason was more of a sub guitar player. Yeah,
Oh, okay. And
yeah,
JD Simo, I saw with him, like
yeah.
that
JD Simo
a little
came
bit
in
after that too.
after. Yeah, he came in after Guthrie. Yep,
Okay, sure.
yep.
But and it's nothing against those other guys, but just for like that hardcore, like country, like chicken picking, like
Yeah.
one thing that just blows me away about your playing, and it did then, and it did every single year after that. And I saw you because I went back in 98, 99, 2000, all that stuff, and
Right.
number one, all the multiple bends going on all at the same time on different strings with
Yeah.
different fingers in different directions,
Yep.
and so much like a steel guitar player.
Well,
And
man,
like
I
everybody
I
should be,
love a pedal steel, brother. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah, but you
And
don't need one because you got you. If you're in the band, you don't need a pedal steel.
well, but I'll be honest with you, brother. This Since I opened up my studio here in Chatham, Virginia, we
Yeah.
have a dear friend who actually let me bring home a double neck old Showbud from '73.
Oh, cool.
And man, I sound like a pig under a gate on that thing, man. But the sound, the tone, and the vibe of a pedal steel guitar, I mean, it really, to me, that is the ultimate sound of what makes country music so unique. And I think obviously amazing steel guitar players, have inspired us guitar players to go more bends.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
more
No,
bends,
you're
man.
right.
Like, and of course, I grew up in the state of Maine, man, which I'm very proud to say. And I am now a member of the Maine Country Music Hall of Fame, which is fun. And
Congratulations. That's
thank you,
awesome.
brother. Yeah, such an honor for me. And but
Yeah,
in
for
the
sure.
bands back home, man, there were no pedal steel players, and if they were, they didn't live up where I did, on the eastern part of Maine. So I had to learn all those steel guitar sounds and stuff. And I grew up playing bluegrass, man. I cut my teeth on bluegrass guitar. Loved Tony Rice
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the old Lester Flatt and Scruggs stuff. And but then, man, I heard Ricky Scaggs play when I was 10 years old at the Bangor Auditorium in Bangor, Maine. And when I saw Ricky, man, I had no clue, man, that he was using a B bender.
Oh, interesting.
But
Okay.
I heard that sound and I said, "Oh my gosh." I looked at my dad and I said, "Dad, the Martin's got to go in the closet. I need a telly." And so it was funny because by the time I hit 12 years old, I was already in my first country band. Playing
Wow.
gigs out at venues and clubs, and of course ran
Oh,
into
that's
the same
awesome.
issue you did, man, being 13. But
Yeah, you can't get in even to play. Yeah.
But I never see. I guess the thing that brought all these bends to light for me was that I loved Ricky Skaggs' tone, his approach. Now, yeah, you go back in the early days with Ricky, you had Ray Flack doing all that stuff, but I don't know. There was something about when Ricky put on that purple glazier tally, man, and started doing, "Love's Gonna Get You" and songs like that.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, man, it was that guitar tone, that Lab Series amp with that purple glazier tally, man, with a B bender. But it really didn't hit me until I moved to Nashville that I realized Ricky was using a B bender. So I had learned all of those B bender licks without one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's how my style really developed. And you know, I had a chance to be on a Grammy-winning award album with Ricky in 2004 called Brand New Strings,
Oh
and
yeah.
I've gotten to know Ricky, and he's my biggest hero. But you know,
That's so cool.
outside of
That's
Danny
so
Gatton,
cool.
of course,
Oh
but
yeah.
I had the chance to tell Ricky, you know, gosh, man, you really crafted me into the player that I became, as far as
Wow.
really trying to capture that B bender tone without one. So I'll tell you what, Johnny, I've got my Johnny Hiland JH6 right here, brother, from Kiesel Guitars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what I'm going to do, man, is I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you one example
Oh, brother.
of what I do to get
Thank
these
you.
bends, man. So
Thank you. Oh
yeah.
man, this is the
So
best lesson I could ever possibly hope for. I can't
sorry
even.
if my camera is a little wonky right at the moment, but
No, you're good. You're good,
I'm
man.
gonna bring this down so you can see what I'm doing, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, that's amazing.
All right. So what I'm going to show you is this. When you play an A, you obviously know that you know, you have your regular A set. You know, here's the second fret, as you can see.
Yep.
So when I play A, I can move anywhere pentatonically. Now the trick is when you go to the D chord, if you take a D, let me move back a little so you can see this better. When I play a D chord, where can I take one finger and bar on the D, G, and B string and get that D? 7th fret.
7th fret, sure. Yep.
Yeah. Now, watch this. If you take a major pentatonic in D, right? What I did as a kid is I said, man, my pinky finger's too short and I got steak fries for fingers. So I said, man,
I got
how
the
do
same
I
problem
get
as you.
so I said, how do I get that scale to feel better? And how can I make it sound less like a scale and more like a lick? So what I did was this. I kept my bar on that 7th fret, but I started on the A string and I played 7, 8, and 9. That's the number of frets. And then I play 7, 9, and 7, 9 on the D and G. And when I get to the B and E string, I'm going to play 7, 8, 9, 10. So you actually have a lick.
You know, if I could just learn to do that, I would be doing a
See,
hell of a lot better than I am now.
That's where all those licks come from.
Oh, cool. Okay.
D bar chord. Now, but here's what I want you to see. So once I learned that I could use this index finger for that D chord, right? What's so great about this is I can reach to that A again, which is like a sus2, and walk into the major third. Now what I'm going to do is bend the G string on the root note, 7th fret G. I'm going to bend that down a whole tone.
There we go. There's that back bend too, that reverse bend. Wow.
So
Okay.
you have your typical. There's that back bend.
Wow. There it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Jeez.
So there you go. Now you got it on camera, brother.
Now I got it on camera. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. You know, I've got a guitar here in my lap, in my hands, because I'm really not comfortable without a guitar in my hands. But
Right.
I'm just picking quietly. It's not. I haven't got the volume up on my amp or anything, and just trying to follow along with you here.
Sure.
And boy, and you know, what you do is, you know, seeing you do it and having you explain it now, it makes sense to me. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that, because I've been trying from your albums, like your first one, you know, Gatton to it and stuff like
Oh,
that. And,
sure. Yeah.
you know, and trying to figure all this stuff out. And your newest album,
Yeah, the Chatham
well,
Sessions Volume 2.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. You do a ton of that stuff on a lot of your songs, you know.
Oh,
But
sure.
but the other thing, if I may be so bold as to ask you to show me one more thing, if you would be willing to.
Absolutely, brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, thank you so much. Because you've got sort of like a chasing run up the neck. that you do, for example, in My Soul Belongs to You, and that's one of the things. And Danny used to do it in Les Paul, and Chet, and and people like that and all that. But
Sure.
but I've just never been able to like pick it to really make it sound smooth.
Is it a double
For
stop lick?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I think it's like a double stop, like and you're sort of like chasing the note like up the neck, basically, like all the way up the neck. It sounds like.
Well, there's a bunch of them that you can do, brother, and I can.
Okay.
And these things are not that bad. I can teach them to you.
Well,
I mean,
thank you.
I have several that I do. So here again, if we look at that bar chord thing, not a necessarily speak, Johnny, talk, not necessarily a full-on bar chord, but my G is here on the 12th fret, right?
Sure. Okay.
Now, what I can do is take the G and B string and use the D string on the bottom as a ghost note. So on the 12th fret is kind of hard to do because you have a harmonic there.
Right.
But you
Right.
can walk into it like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a simplified way of doing this because you have your G scale, right? So you have, right? Now we put the harmony line underneath that. And then open. So all I did there is I'm actually playing a bar on the 12th fret, G and B. Then the second position is actually 11th fret G, 10th fret B.
Makes sense. Yep.
Slide that down 2. Then bar on the 7. Bar on the 5. Then you go back to that second position I was showing you. So now it'll be 4th fret G, 3rd fret B. Slide that down 2. And then play open B and G and B.
Yep. Okay.
Now, what's so great about this, man, is simple major scale approach, but now you can do all kinds of things with this. So you can do like, I can't even play today. Now all I'm doing is still using the same G scale. I'm just moving it like.
Yeah, so sliding back and forth.
Yeah. Now you
Into
can take
position,
that,
basically.
yeah,
Okay.
and you can take that and do like you can do trills like Danny Gatton did, where you'd go like that.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
Holy cow. Okay.
So you can like
Wow. Wow. Okay.
just an old Roy Nichols like there. I just hit the G note on the high E, 3rd fret. Now I'm going to reach down. Now some guys use their 4th finger, but like I said, mine's too short to worry about. So I use my 3rd finger. So now I'm going down to the 6th fret B string, but on the 5th fret, I'm going to actually do an up bend on the G. Drop it, go to the 3rd fret.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's an old Roy Nichols like there, buddy.
Oh, cool. Cool.
But you can do all
Well,
kinds.
Roy Nichols is someone who is not talked about nearly enough.
Oh, no, he's
Also.
not, buddy. No,
Yeah.
he's not.
Boy.
But you can take that same scale, and then you can just, you can do all kinds of fun things with that and move it around, bounce it around. You can have so much fun with that.
Yeah, it's sort of like a rockabilly feel, like on That's All Right Now, Mama, and stuff like that.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You heard me do that a lot. Now I'll give you a little Danny secret that I use.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
You can take this little thing right here, that bar on the G right there, right? G and B string.
Yep.
And you can use your 3rd finger to play that, and then reach here. So that kind of thing. But what I'm getting at is you can walk it. So you can go.
Oh wow, that's so cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, one thing is for sure, and everybody who's watching, I'm sure, knows this. I got my work cut out for me now. But
Oh well, Johnny, trust me, buddy. This is obviously an interview today, and we're having fun. But you
yeah,
come
oh yeah.
time, brother, because I do teach, and I'd love to get with you, man. Be fun.
No, and thank you. And so that's actually something that I wanted to ask you about as well. So that everybody knows you do give like online lessons and all that, and video lessons and stuff, right? So if
Yes.
anybody wants
Yeah.
to get an in-depth lesson with you, they can do that or get lots and lots of in-depth lessons with you, right?
Yeah, and one thing I will say, man, I even teach, I teach people all over the world using Skype, but I've heard now that Skype is going to be closing down.
Really?
So now I have to
Cool,
find a
cool.
new platform to teach from. But yeah, it's I heard they're closing it in May.
I had no idea. I had not heard that at all. That's crazy. Wow.
It is, man, because Skype is so fun to teach on, man. And plus, the person taking the lesson can record it
Huh.
while we're
Oh,
doing it.
interesting. Okay.
So,
Yeah,
so
well,
if
shoot.
anyone knows any platforms out there, let me know.
Well, what I can think of off the top of my head would be Zoom or Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, I've tried Teams, man. It's a little bit too complicated for a blind guy.
Oh,
And the
it's
problem I'm
it's too
running into,
complicated for
man.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, the other thing is that it's very hard to record on Teams or Zoom. I guess you have to pay for the full Zoom thing in order to get a recording of like an hour each time you're on. And see, my
That
lessons are
makes sense.
usually,
Yeah.
yeah, my lessons are usually 90 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So and man, my problem is I get to go and man and have so much fun with you that I just show you a bunch of stuff. So, I have students, man, that'll get a lesson with me and I won't see them for 3 or 4 months because they have so much to work on.
See,
And
that's how I feel right now. Like just down the things you've been showing me and and my audience this morning. And thank you for that, man. I mean, I
of
know
course.
you don't have to give this away for free, and I appreciate
Oh,
you showing
hey,
this stuff.
buddy, it's my pleasure, man. And I want people to see my beautiful Kiesel guitar, man. This is my signature guitar with Kiesel guitars.
Yeah, show that off, please.
Yeah, man, this
Show us
guitar
the
is just
pickups and all that.
see having steak fries for fingers, man. What I needed to do is on any normal T-style guitar, it was very hard for me to reach the volume and tone knob.
Ah,
So what we did on the Johnny Hiland model is we raised the knobs up. So now you can play have access to volume swells and the switches underneath. So you can volume swell and change pickups as you're doing it with your pinky
awesome,
finger. And when you got a
awesome,
pinky finger this short, buddy, if I can do it, anybody can.
yeah.
But beautiful roasted maple neck. You know, really, really great guitar. It's got my signature pickups in it, and man, I'll be honest, brother. Kiesel guitars are making the absolute best USA handcrafted guitars in the all over the world. I mean, they're the best. They're the best guitars out there made in the USA for the best price. And honestly, man, like a Johnny model, I think's running around 18 now or 19, somewhere in there. But Jeff Kiesel made me this one, man, for my 45th birthday. It's my Don Rich tribute. So it's a beautiful silver sparkle. It's just not coming across on the camera very well.
No, I could definitely see the gorgeous sparkle in that
But
finish.
man, here's another thing, brother. Look at that neck carve.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
can
yeah.
really get your hand up here on this body real easily, man.
See, I love that, and it's funny because I tend to, really gravitate toward Les Pauls. I always have, but without the neck carve or the scoop or whatever, like out of the neck,
Yes.
you know, as I've played other guitars over the years with that, and like what I've got now is like that also. You can just get so far up the neck
Right.
so easily without having to, like contort your wrist around and stuff like that, and really
Right.
stretch and and get carpal tunnel into your hand and all
Well,
that.
now I want you to know, Johnny. I say this, brother. I had an R7,
Yeah,
Gibson historic 57 gold top
yeah.
with original Sprague bumblebees in it, the whole bit. Kiesel actually makes an LP style guitar that actually has one volume and one tone, and
Okay.
then you can pull up on the tone knob and go to single coil mode. man, you can chicken
Wow.
pick on that guitar, brother, and they're very affordable. So check
That
them out.
is so cool. That's awesome to know.
Yep.
I really was not aware of that.
Yeah, I had
Uh,
such a hard time with Les Pauls, and man, I loved Les personally. We were dear friends,
yeah.
and I got to play
Les,
with
yeah.
Les, 3 or 4 times at the Iridium in New York.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, and it
Oh,
was
that's so
funny,
cool.
man, because he would tease me. He'd say, "Boy, you come up here and you bring the wrong guitar every time." But I got to admit, man, since I got that Kiesel, I got to be honest, brother. The one volume, one tone. If you like the, if you're not raised playing Les Pauls where you got 4 knobs, it's just too much to deal with for a guy like me. I like one master volume, one master tone, and I like to be able to go from single coil mode to humbuckers and vice versa. So yeah, man, I'll have to send you some links on the Kiesel. I know they got
Yeah,
some
please
on
do.
the in-stock page. Yeah. KieselGuitars.com though, folks. Get you a JH6. I mean that.
What I'll do is after this, for anybody watching the replay of this live stream, I'll put links right in the video
Perfect.
well, number one, your website, your Spotify, all that stuff, and
Right
then
on. Thank
also
you.
for the Kiesel guitar, your signature Kiesel guitar, and then from there also, I mean, if you want to look at other models, everybody, you can browse the website and everything. Except I'll put the link
I'll
right
just
for
say
this
this:
one that you're showing me.
Kiesel guitars will build your dream guitar. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. They really, when they added me to the artist roster, brother, and Jeff Kiesel designed this guitar with me. I mean, yes, I've had, I had a signature Fender for a while. I had a Paul Reed Smith. I played Music Man's for a while, and I know people
Right.
kind of were like, "Oh, Johnny's a gear hopper, a jumper or whatever." But I'll be honest, man. When I hooked up with Kiesel guitars, brother, I found my guitar home. They are
Really?
really, really amazing guitars. Stainless steel frets, loom inlay side dots. I mean, anything you get on a standard Kiesel guitar, man, is better than any guitar company out there these days. And
That is so
no
cool.
no music stores, no middleman. So Kiesel gives you the best price they can.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, too.
Yep.
You know, more and more companies are going direct to consumer now, I'm seeing.
Yes.
And so the idea of list price and then there's street price and then there's dealer price.
Yep.
Now people are basically getting the dealer price.
That's right.
So you're basically like 55% of what you would pay if you were walking into a store to buy the same
Yeah, I mean,
exact
if
instrument.
a Johnny Hiland model Kiesel was in a store, it would be 40, 4 grand, 4,500.
Oh, sure.
And when you
And
get it from
and worth
Kiesel,
every penny. Worth every penny for
yeah,
that matter,
but then again, man, I mean, I personally love to see that I can sell, as an artist, I can push my own guitar and say, look, man, it's not going to break the bank. $1,800 for a
Yeah.
USA custom built guitar that's a great deal in this day and age, man.
That is absolutely amazing. You're absolutely right. No other company I know of, especially the big three,
Yeah,
are building, you know, anything like customized at all for less than like,
yeah, it's
minimum
going to cost you.
probably 7,500,
Right.
and something from the custom shop. So even though it's not a custom guitar, something from a custom shop, you're
Yep.
talking at least 5-6 grand nowadays
It's true, man. And you can literally call
for a
Kiesel and
production instrument.
yeah, I mean, man, I've actually had people go, well, I can't play one in a store, so I'm kind of scared. I'm like, look, if you're in Virginia, come to my house. You can play all my Kiesels. We'll record something, and I let people play my Kiesels because, man, the minute they put them in their hands, they're on the phone. They're going, Johnny, can we call Kiesel right here? Sure.
Well,
Because they're that good of a guitar, my brother. That I literally do open my house up to folks and say, look, come on in, play my Kiesels, man.
wow,
Because
wow.
there's
Well,
no finer guitar on the planet, man.
well, Johnny, I got to tell you, you really better hope that I never make it down to Virginia from Tucson because
Oh, buddy, you're welcome
I'm
anytime,
going to be knocking on that door. I think.
man. You're welcome anytime, Johnny. And
That's so nice of you. Thank you. Thank you. That's
anytime, brother. Me
very,
and
very kind of
Kimmy,
you.
we'll get Kimmy to throw on some grub, man, and we'll go down to the
Ooh.
studio and play some guitars and have some fun, man. So,
Oh man,
yep,
you're number one. You're way too kind. Number two, you're really tempting me because I bet Kimmy is probably a pretty darn good cook.
she is.
This other gal, and I can't wait to
Yeah,
hopefully
brother.
get
You
to meet
come
her
to
someday
Virginia. You,
too.
you stay in touch with me. We'll make that happen, brother. But
Oh, that's so
I,
nice of you. That's so
I
nice of
I
you.
really just think it's amazing, man. A lot of people have been like, "Oh, Johnny's retired." See, back in 2016, man, I started having some hand and arm issues. And I don't know, if it's carpal tunnel or what it is, but so I literally, country music is not country music anymore, as you know.
It
And
has changed. It has
yeah,
changed.
it's changed a lot. And, thank God for guys like Hayden Baker out there and Zakk Top that are keeping it real.
Oh yeah. Oh
And,
yeah.
and they're both mighty fine pickers too.
Yeah.
And, but to be honest with you, man, Kimmy was raised here in Virginia in a little town called Hurt, which is, Gretna, Chatham area, which is right in between Danville and Lynchburg.
Okay.
So we came back up here, man, to be closer to family, which we just absolutely love. And on top of that, man, I opened up a studio with my dear friend Kenny Thurman, who I've known for 30 years in Nashville. And so, man, I do full band tracking for people all over the world, and I teach guitar full time. So,
That is so cool.
yeah, man, and it's such an amazing to actually, I was a session guitar player in Nashville, and I still have
Yeah.
all my ties there. But to be honest with you, man, to be able to work with singer-songwriters and artists that have a song that's, they got an acoustic vocal and they want a band around it. Well, I'm a one-man band, man. I play 22 instruments. So,
Do you really?
yes,
Oh
sir.
wow.
Yeah, so literally someone can call me, send me an acoustic and a vocal, and I'll put the full band around it for them. And then,
Huh.
Kenny, so I track it all, and then Kenny mixes and masters for people. And so when we send the song back to them, it's fully mixed, mastered, and ready for their album.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna have to talk more because I write some really really terrible songs, and
There's no such thing, brother.
but well, you haven't heard my stuff then. But I really do um a horrible job at mixing and mastering, and
Gotcha.
that's like the bane of my existence. And
Well, man,
I've
Kenny's
got
one of
great
the best, brother.
equipment, and I just can't use it the way that it should be used. And it
I
really,
got you. Well, man, just so you know, Chatham Sessions Volume 1 and 2, man, is me playing every instrument on there.
and I was going to ask you about that. I heard the banjo on there and everything else, and
Yep.
all sorts of stuff. So I was
Yep.
wondering if that was all you, and I'm glad you're bringing that up. I mean,
Yep. Well, nowadays, man, you don't have record jackets to read, so nobody really. It makes me sad
that's
too,
true.
man, because I
Yeah,
used to
that's true.
love back in the day, even as a legally blind guy, I loved taking the record jackets out, and even with a magnifying glass, I'd sit there and who played guitar on that one, and who played bass on that, who played drums, and it's like nowadays people just don't think about that, they don't care about that.
That's so true, and that is unfortunate. You know, my cousin Johnny Reagan, who was with Frampton for a long time and really for over 30 years
Yep.
on the bass, and we lost Johnny about a year and a half ago,
Oh
and
man, so sorry,
Johnny
brother.
Reagan, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful guy, a tremendous musician, and
Wow.
he started Frehley's Comet with Ace and with Todd Howarth and oh geez, on drums I'm blanking on his name now. He plays with Bonamassa a lot now,
Oh,
but
okay.
Anton Fig, and
Yes.
so they started, and they were Frehley's Comet after Ace left Kiss,
Yep.
and stuff like that. And so a totally different style of music. But I mean, Johnny could play country and all sorts of stuff.
Sure.
One of those guys like you, I think. You just gravitate toward an instrument and you just pick it up and play the thing. Granted, it does take work.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people think, oh, like you're a natural talent and stuff. It doesn't hurt to have like some sort of a natural ability, but it still takes a lot of work to get
Hey
everything
man,
the way
I
you
tell
want.
people, I tell people this every day, brother. I mean, the good Lord took care of this boy, man, because I was born legally blind with an eye disease called nystagmus,
Oh, wow.
and I'm not the type of guy that has enough sight to go out and get what you would call a normal day job.
I got you.
So the fact that the good Lord, I mean, man, when I'm talking when I was 2.5 years old, man, I was on the road by age of 4.
Wow.
Playing
Wow.
bluegrass music, in
Wow.
bluegrass festivals and stuff when I was 4 years old.
Holy
So
cow. I was not aware of that.
yeah, man. I mean, I've been playing all my life, and so
Wow.
I
Wow.
guess what I'm saying is, the good Lord gave me the gift to play music, man, and I'm so grateful for that. And I do get a
Wow.
chance to meet, kids all over the world, whether they're handicapped or not. that have been blessed with musical talent right off the bat, man. Like you said, can pick up an instrument and play it.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, there are a few instruments, man, to this day, like the pedal steel, that I'm finding out where, you know, a blind boy just does not sound good on that instrument. But I am learning. I am learning how to play it. And like you said, you do have to put time in on the instrument. You really do. And
No, absolutely. Yeah.
but yes, the love,
Some of us
and
more than others, like me.
yeah, the love and the motivation and the dedication to getting good at an instrument does take a lot of time, as you know. So it's devotion, you know. But I do tell people, man, I really do believe God took care of me as a kid, because everyone was like, "Well, what's going to happen to him? He can't see much."
Wow.
Well, for me, I'm thankful for the sight that I do have, you know. And so, frankly, I'm glad that I can see anything, you know. And but to be honest, man, having this gift of music, man, even though I even have arm and hand troubles now, okay, I don't play live much anymore, but you know, like I am doing the Masters of the Telecaster camp this October in
Oh, very
in New
cool.
York. Yep.
Are you really?
So
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
hooking up with Guthrie and Red and Jim Weeder and G.E. Smith and John Jorgensen. It's going to be a blast, man. We're going to have a good time.
I bet that will be a
And,
blast. Oh, wow.
yeah, mastersoftetelecaster.org, folks. You guys need to go on and get some tickets and come on up to that, because not a lot of people get to see me play live much anymore. So
And that is such a huge, huge treat. You know, I mean, see, you know, hearing you play is awesome, you know, and it's great music, but
well,
then
thank you,
seeing
bro.
you play live is just a whole different experience. Like,
Well, it used
actually,
to
it's just
be, you know, when I was a
experiencing it.
youngster. Yeah. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's funny,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I tell people when I was that age, man, and you got to see me playing with Don, man, I was a whippersnapper back then, man. All I wanted to do was pick, 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 pick. And the faster I could play, the better I loved it.
Well, I don't blame you, you know, and you were using, I think, a butterscotch Fender Telly back then,
Yep.
like Danny used to play. You know,
Sure.
what kind of guitar was that? I mean, or what year was that, I guess? Was that like an old one, a vintage one or something like that?
No, no, I've never owned a vintage Telly, man. I could never afford one. But to be honest with you, man, that Telly that I used to play with Don that was kind of butterscotch is one I put together.
Really?
I got the old neck from Red Vocart, and the body came from somewhere else. And you know, I even tried to solder pickups back then. Oh man, that hurts for a blind boy to, you know, burn
Oh
your fingers
boy.
with a soldering gun. But I ended
Oh
up going
boy.
to Joe Glazier and whatever. And of course, everybody in Nashville, man, God love Joe Glazier, man. What an amazing guy. And he takes care of all us guitar pickers in Nashville, man. But and it's harder for me to get to him now that I live in Chatham. But yeah, Joe's just an amazing guy. But yeah, that was one that I put together back in those days, man, and played with Don. But yes, Fender did end up making me a Gold Sparkle with 3 Joe Barden pickups in it, and I played that with Don for quite a few years. And but I think I also, man, back then, if you saw me in like '98 or '99, I had a
Yeah.
I well, that's when I had learned that Ricky used a bender, so I got one of the Fender benders back then, one of the really, really heavyweight, like, you know, 10, 11-pound Telecasters that had the big Parsons-style bender in it.
Yep.
You know, they were
You know,
really,
I've got
really
one of
heavy.
those actually. It was my dad's.
Yep. And man, I played one of those with Don, and that's why I walk like this all the time now, because I wore my shoulder plumb out, man.
No,
You
I
know,
can
but it was
understand why. Yeah.
yeah, but it was a great guitar though, man. A lot of fun. And,
Mine's actually got a G bender in it.
nah, boy,
So it's got a B
that's
bender.
a no right there now.
Yeah.
You're
Well, no
starting to talk
kidding. So
Jimmy
it's got a B
Olander
bender and a
territory.
G bender. It's got both.
Yeah, see, now you're getting into Brad Paisley, Jimmy O territory, man. I see what
Yeah.
you're doing on me. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm no good at actually playing it. You know, the thing for me
I
is
got you.
it's hard enough for me to figure out where I'm supposed to put my fingers on the fretboard as it is, without having to take the extra step of thinking a half step below, a half step behind. And that's part of the reason why
Right.
like the back bends are so difficult for me. Oh, except like when you show the theory behind it and the fretboard theory, like you did a few minutes ago, you know, I mean, now it's making it a lot easier for me to understand like what I've got to do to get there. So that alone was incredibly helpful for me.
Well, I think
You know?
what's amazing about the guitar too, man, is you realize, you know, as you're younger and you're learning the instrument, you're playing scales.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, what's a D major scale? And you learn all those notes. But guess what? There are a lot of other notes in between there that you can start moving around.
Yeah.
And as you start moving them around, guess what, man? There's a lot of flexibility there. There's a lot of fun to be had there. You just got to be daring and willing to do it and to try it. You know, if you make a mistake, who cares? We're human. We're gonna make
Well,
mistakes.
exactly.
You know.
Yeah, and even on stage too. You know, that goes on stage. You gotta
I'm
be.
I'm gonna show you one more example, Johnny.
Oh, geez, thank you. Awesome.
Yeah. So I just showed you that bend in D that we were talking about, right?
Yep.
All right. So now watch this one. So I'm gonna go back to that D position, right? 7th fret.
Yep.
And I showed you this bend. Right?
Okay.
Now I have my major scale. Right? I have my G scale, which is the 4 chord. Right? Everything I need in the key of D is right here. My A scale. But what I wanted you to see is chromaticisms, the notes that are around the scales, right? So watch this. I learned this bend first. Now I'm still thinking of this bar chord as the D. 5 root 3rd, right?
Okay.
So now watch this though. If I take this bar chord and use my 3rd finger again, then to do a flatted 7 would be like this. Right? Because I'm going down to the C note.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
Makes sense?
Oh yeah.
But now what I did is I said, oh look, it's an A minor position. You know. Right? I'm not gonna
sure, okay.
But you see what I'm getting at though. So
Yeah, I'm starting to, yeah.
D7 position is kind of where the A minor is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this G note instead of playing that full chord. So now I can go like this.
Wow, okay, I got you. Yeah, wow.
So there are 3 bends right there.
Yeah, so working in 3 different bends all at the same time
So there are whole tone
root.
bends and half tone bends.
Yep.
So you got a whole tone. So when people actually ask me, Johnny, how do you practice your bends and getting them so in tune? It's knowing the note that you're bending to. So I'm going to go. I'm just matching the note.
Oh, that's excellent advice. Yeah, and having the string.
You build the strength as you match the note.
Yes.
And so when people
people
say, how do I get the strength building in my fingers? I'm like, well, if you know the note you're going to bend to, you're building strength and not even realizing it.
No, because that's all part of the process too.
Well, because your brain is making you think, oh, I need to hit that E note. I don't want to hear any difference. You know, and of course you can have all the flexibility with that you want.
Oh yeah.
But my point is, we have this bend, we have this bend, and that's a whole tone. But then we have this one. Now that's just bending this note into this one.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
But guess what? You can take that D scale and you can chromatically walk that. So if I was to put that in a song, you know, like I could go.
Wow. Well, so I guess, having fun with it is obviously one of the keys, and playing around with it. And like you said, trying different things and not being afraid to make a mistake. And,
Right. But see, now
through that,
the big key though, Johnny, behind all of this, brother, that I want everybody watching this to see. How do I learn where to use chromaticisms? How does it get to be that comfortable? It becomes that comfortable by saying, okay, I have a D scale, like there's my D chord, right? Well, I have there's a D scale. But guess where my finger landed? It went from this D to this D, right?
Yep.
So I went high to low. Now I'm going to leave my finger right there, and I'm going to go to the next D scale. And I'm going to leave my finger there and go to the next D scale. And then I'm going to go to the next D scale. And I'm going to leave my finger there and go to the next one. I learned the scales not by just knowing all the positions of the scales or using the cage theory or anything like that. What I learned how to do was to connect my scales based on where my fingers land.
Sure, sure. And that makes so much sense, actually. I sort of did the same thing over the years as well, because some people call it playing in different positions and things like that. I mean, it all basically, I think so many people, especially younger people or newer players, focus so much on using your index finger.
Right.
So then they think that they've always got to use the index finger on the root note, and that's not true. Maybe you want to use your ring finger on a root note, depending on where you've landed before.
Well, and you saw me too switch fingers.
And you can do, yeah, exactly. And that opens up so many different positions and so many different things that you can do.
Well, and even if you notice, when I played that first D scale, I started on the 5 note. And then I went down. Now I could actually keep that going. Because some people say, well, Johnny, if you connect finger to finger with scales, so like you play the full scale and you end here, well, then you're leaving out all these notes. And I'm like, it's not that I'm leaving them out. I know that they're there.
Yeah.
But I'm actually just going to go from scale to scale to scale to scale and keep moving up the neck. And I'm going up, I'm going down one scale. And I'm going up the next scale. And going back down the next one. Then going up the next one. So what I'm getting at is you learn the entire fretboard so well that then you can actually start taking, chances, if you will, or risk taking on the guitar, where you can actually start going like if you hear a right? Well, that didn't start on the root note. It started on the 3rd.
Sure. Yep.
I sometimes like to start a scale on the 3rd note, or I like to use a flat 7 note. So what I'm getting at is once you learn the scale so well, then you can start manipulation. Then you can start to and you've actually heard old country tunes.
Yeah.
It's all manipulation.
No, that's
So now what I'm going to do is tell you this. When you learn your scale patterns, yes, uber important. But then you start focusing on the songs that you love. Like, hey, Merle Haggard, Tonight the Bottle Let Me Down, Stay Here and Drink, Mama Tried, all those songs from Merle. I could name you my favorite Merle Haggard song is Chase Each Other Around the Room Tonight, right? I could name any country artist and give you 4 or 5 songs that I love from that artist. But guess what I can also do? I can take any D scale on this neck and play you the melody to Mama Tried and keep it moving up and down the fretboard based on where I want to go.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
So my point is, learn your scales very, very, very well. And then your main focus should be melody. It's never, people always kind of freak out when I say, look, licks are 4th in my mind.
Huh. Interesting.
Because the first thing is melody. Melody to any song. You wouldn't have Happy Birthday or You Are My Sunshine without their melody.
Very true. Right? Very true.
And so here's my point, though. Then you take that melody and you form the melody using your scale patterns, right? Because you'll find that even in most songs that we love are either in two different modes, either major or minor, right? So, and how do you make a major scale a minor scale? You flatten the 3rd and flatten the 6th, right? So then you say, okay, well, all right, I'm gonna just do this, man. I'm gonna have fun with you. Okay. So I'm gonna take simply "You Are My Sunshine."
Right? Oh, geez, okay.
So watch this. Right? So I'm just playing the melody. There's the melody in first position A, right?
Yep.
Now, watch this. So when I was a little boy, I learned, oh, wow, A major scales are all over the fretboard, right? So then I learned this. I learned... I'm all the way up here now.
That is such an incredible tool to learn the whole fretboard. That
it is. But guess where it all comes from? It all comes from... just learning your major scales connected all the way up and down the fretboard. Because then you can take any melody you want and move it anywhere you want.
Good point.
So then, as a kid, I thought, okay, well, I don't have to necessarily play that. I don't have to play it that way. So what I did is I did this. Now watch this. I'm going to play. So the melody is the most important thing, right? Well, guess where the lick goes? In the holes of the melody. So watch this. I'm going to go. There's a hole. There's another big hole. There's another hole. There's another hole. Another hole, right? So you find the little holes, right? So now watch this. Now I'm going to go.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, you can sort of think about it also like if you're backing up a singer, also if the singer's singing the melody, that's also where you would be filling in those.
Johnny, do you know
too, right?
Do you know that 95% of solos are crafted by the guitar player filling around the vocal? That's where he figures out what licks he wants to play in his solo.
Interesting. Interesting.
So my point is, not many guitar teachers are going to take you into this kind of depth. But I'll be honest with you, it's not about the lick, folks. It's about the melody. If you can keep your audience's attention into the song that you're playing, and you do not allow the audience to lose the melody, you can play anything around that melody that you want to, and they'll never lose track of what song you're playing. So now, here's another example.
Cool. Yeah.
So now, here's another example. I'm going to take You Are My Sunshine, and we just kind of did a little Western swing thing to it, right? So now, let's countryfy it. So now we'll do like a...
Wow. Yeah, there you go. But boy, that is number one, the tone of that Kiesel guitar. You know, I've got to say, not that I'm trying to change the subject away from
No, I got you.
but that tone, I don't think you changed anything on the guitar, right? I think you're changing the Western swing to country feel just by the way that you're attacking the strings with your fingers.
Well,
right?
I switched pickups. I went to the bridge pickup for the country. Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, I want everybody to know watching, I'm plugged into a little Roland microcube.
Oh, geez, wow. There you go.
So I'm not even plugged into any big pedal board or anything like that. I'm just running into a little microcube.
Oh, that's so cool.
So my point is, yes, if you have the guitar that makes you play the best, man, and it really puts a smile on your face, and it's easy to play, fun to play, it's a great looking guitar, and it makes you feel good, then that's the instrument you need to have.
You're absolutely right.
And that's what a Johnny Hiland model does for me. So when Jeff Kiesel and I really designed this guitar and he put it out on the market, I want the same thing for everybody else that has one that I get. Because when I play this guitar, it's addicting and I don't want to stop. You know? That's what a guitar is supposed to do to you, man. It's supposed to be addicting and fun. I think what happens, Johnny, is a lot of guys, man, they get into the music business and the business starts taking over.
I got you. Sure.
Like, man, we all have to worry about how many spins we get on Spotify, and we have to worry about how many hits we have on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. And I mean, I love all of these platforms.
Oh,
but when I put out Chatham Sessions Volume 1 and 2, brother, okay, so I have 8 albums out. And yes, my Shrapnel record where I got to play with Stu Hamm and Jeremy Colson and Jesse Bradman, my first Vi album where I got to play with Pat Torpey and Billy Sheehan and Bill Holloman from Danny Gatton's band.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Those albums are phenomenal. But guess what? And they're phenomenal in the fact that I had those experiences with those amazing, amazing artists, right?
Sure. Oh, sure.
But guess when Johnny Hiland has had the most fun? It's when I'm sitting in Camp Hiland studio down there in the back of my house, and I write something, and it could be in here with my little microcube, it could be me with my Martin or a flat top or whatever. If I write something, I can go right downstairs and cut it and record it.
That's a blessing,
brother.
We
have lost the fun in music. Why do we play? Right. Why do we play guitar? Because it's fun.
It's supposed to be fun, exactly.
Right. So, all you guitar players watching this, yes, it's hard work, it's dedication, it's learning how to make the instrument talk to you, it's bringing forth the absolute best in melody that you can. But guess what? At the end of the day, if it's not fun for you, don't do it.
Good point.
Do something else. Because
Good point.
every time, even though I have hand and arm troubles, I still pick up this guitar every day and have a complete ball playing music. Because that's what it's supposed to do in here. And I've been 22 years, 23 years in Nashville, really going after the guitar artist career and how many records can I put out and how many tour dates can I do and but at the end of the day, brother, it's how much of the fun are you bringing into all of that? Or is it really becoming a job, right?
That's a great point.
So for me, now that I'm in Chatham, Virginia, and I get to do sessions every day, I get to help bring somebody else's song to life, and I get to watch them get happy because of it, which in turn makes me happy. So, hey man, I'm not all about peace, love, tie-dye, and macrame, but I really do believe in 2025. Why, if someone says, Johnny, why do you play chicken picking guitar? Because it makes me happy. It's a
there
fun
you go.
style. It's a fun style to play, man, right? So
it's a difficult style and it's a fun style. There's something just uplifting about it. It's poppy and it makes you want to groove sort of. It's just a cool fun style to play. And I play a lot of blues, I play country, I play rock, I play a bunch of different stuff. Except
sure, I do as well. Yeah.
Stuff is just sure you do. Yeah. But that chicken picking stuff, it's part of what's fun for me about it is in the challenge of making it what it's supposed to be. Also, you've said something a few times that I really want to highlight. You said that God blessed you with the ability to play, especially with your blindness. But I've always really truly felt that being able to play music really is a gift.
Oh, it is.
Of the joy it brings to other people. It's not just something you can do for yourself. It's something that you can share with other people and just make other people so happy. Music is the universal language.
It is.
Without lyrics or whatever else, we can all talk to each other, even if we don't speak the same language, through the language of the instrument.
Well,
that's
man,
just such a special thing.
I think what's so funny about this is as my career developed and as I mean, man, when I say the good Lord gifted me, blessed me, same thing, because it is a gift to play music. And you're right, it is universal. And so, but my point is it's I have just as many friends in the rock world as I do the chicken picking world.
Oh, cool.
So yes, I love Vince Gill, Ricky Scaggs, Steve Warner, Brad Paisley, all these guys. Yes, I've known them, I've met them, I'm friends with all of them. But guess what? I'm equally as friends with Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Sammy Hagar, Ted Nugent, Les Paul. Guitar is guitar. When you have a love for the instrument, you're right. It doesn't matter what language you speak on it. We're all in the same big family.
That's a very good point.
And I love that, man. And so same thing when it comes to pedal makers or amp builders or guitar makers man, I love every single person that works in that Kiesel Guitarist factory. Why? Because they are so adept at what they do. They're all masters. And they bring forth instruments that we all love to play. How much better of a job I mean, man, if I had perfect eyesight, I would be working at a guitar factory probably. Because
that's so cool. Yeah.
Because I know some people go, wow, that's just wood and steel, man.
Yeah, no, it's so much more than that.
Yeah, it's wood and steel that brings happiness to all of our lives. Like touching way down in here, and it does something to you.
You're absolutely right.
And and I'm actually a very emotional guitar player, meaning if I wake up in the morning and have my coffee and do my workout or whatever, and I'm just, well, guess what? Johnny's going to record a rock tune. If I've lost somebody in the family or I'm upset about something, guess what? A blues tune's going to fall out of me.
Yeah.
But if I'm happy and I'm, shit kicking or whatever, there's going to be a good old country hog stomping, yeehaw and good time fly on them. But
Well,
see, music does different things emotionally with me. And I think as you know, as everybody develops in their playing style, they will find that it kind of rubs off.
good point.
Gosh, man, I love. So when people walk in my house, they look at my CD collection. They go, "What's Johnny listening to?" It's everything from Al DiMeola to
Oh,
Metallica to I'm a big Rush head. Love Danny
oh, yeah,
Gatton.
Rush.
Love, and I've got every guitar album under the sun, man. You know, like all the Vi, Satriani, Yngwie, Richie Kotzen. Uh, you know, I mean, and then of course all the Brent Mason, Ricky Scaggs. You know, all the country stuff. Waylon, Willie, Johnny Cash, all that. But man, my musical tastes are just, you know, gosh, man, I'll pop on a Rush record in a heartbeat, man. Alex Lifeson to me is one of the most underrated guitar players, man. He just
That's very true.
yeah.
You know, a wonderful songwriter, a wonderful artist in that respect, but also technically such an incredible player. You
Really,
know,
really, he is, man. Yeah.
no, I got to tell you, Johnny, if I had not had the technical difficulties right at the start of this, I actually had a whole intro worked out for you that
Oh,
that I never really got to do,
it's
and
okay, brother.
this I think is like the perfect segue into that, if that's okay. What
Sure.
what we're talking about now is that cool?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
He's been called a chicken picker, a country shredder, a twang master beast, a living legend, and a total badass at guitar. And that's just on my YouTube channel in some of the comments once I announced that this was coming up. And I call him an all around wonderful guy, the
Well,
one and
thank
only Johnny Hiland. And that is even more true now, an hour and 15 minutes into this, man, than before, because you've been so generous and so wonderful with me and with everybody here with all this incredible knowledge and showing the skills, showing the technical stuff and everything. I appreciate it so much. I
Oh, Johnny, my pleasure, brother. My
I
pleasure.
don't want to keep you all Saturday, but I also don't want to run out of time, Johnny, because I've got a few questions that some viewers wanted
You
me
go
to
right
ask
ahead,
before I
brother.
go
Yeah,
on to it. Is that
let's do
cool?
a question reel, man. And I
Cool,
want
cool, cool,
everybody to
cool.
know, I even
Thanks.
all through my career and everything, I have been so blessed, but I want everybody to know watching. It's you folks that have made me who I am today. The good Lord gave me the gift and he's taken care of me through all this and he's blessed me with Kimmy, but you guys are the ones that buy the records, buy the Kiesel guitars and the Elixir strings and the Fat Jimmy amps and all that stuff. It's you guys that keep me doing what I do. So I love each and every one of you watching and I thank you for this, Johnny. I really do, brother.
Well, you're obviously a tremendously sincere guy, and everybody out there, everybody watching, I'm sure we can all tell that that comes straight from the heart, Johnny.
Oh yeah, buddy. It
And
really does.
and just like when you play too, it comes from the heart through your arms and into your fingers, and then into the guitar. You
Mhm.
know, the strings, the wood, the pickups, the wires, the
Yes.
amplifier. You know what I mean? That's all from the heart too, and that's really what this whole thing is about. You
Yeah.
can tell when somebody's a good person based on the way that they play. I think you can get somebody's personality when somebody's like super aggressive all the time in
Yeah.
their playing, they're probably gonna be a pretty aggressive person, you know, like just if you want
True.
to go to a bar or something like that. But but that soul that comes into it, you know, the ability to use dynamics means that you've got a dynamic personality, I think, as well.
Oh, thank you,
You
buddy. Thank you. Well, you know,
know? Yeah.
I learned a long time ago from a Ricky Skaggs song, "Don't get above your raisin." And you know, my
There
mom
you
and
go.
daddy always taught me they're like, "Boy, you remember when you go out that door who you are and where you came from, you know?" And
There you go.
so yeah, I'm just a good old proud Maine boy that happens to have a little bit of a southern accent, but Kimmy said the Maine boy comes out when I get angry, you know.
Oh, that's fun.
I just don't park my car in the dooryard no more, you know. So
Well, just
so
as long as you're not in any Stephen King novels, then I think you're
hey, I
probably safe.
love Stephen King, man.
You and
He's
me both.
amazing.
You and
Yeah,
me both.
I've had the chance to meet Stephen. He's a wonderful
Yeah.
guy.
Oh, that's so
And I
cool.
heard he's a guitar player.
Is he real? I had no idea. I had no
Fen-
idea.
Fender Strat guy, man. You know, God bless him.
Well, all the best people are guitar players, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, well, we all own one anyway. I mean, gosh,
Yeah,
it's,
right.
I really feel like every person on this planet needs to at least own a guitar.
I agree.
Because,
I
man,
agree.
even if you walk up and just run your fingers across the strings, man, it does something, brother.
Just
So,
looking at a guitar for me, y- you know, even if I'm in a bad mood, I can just see a guitar sitting there, and all of a sudden I'm like, it just affects me,
yeah, yeah,
and and then for me, having the gift to be able to pick it up and play it and express what I'm feeling, like you're saying, you know, when I start the day out great, I'm in a fantastic mood. I play the guitar and I feel even better than I did before. When
yes.
I feel like shit, I pick up the guitar and then I feel better than I did before I picked up the guitar,
Well,
and
one thing
that's
I've learned though,
such a
Johnny,
special thing.
one thing I've learned
Yeah,
though, brother, and it's
yeah.
true. If you wake up and you feel shitty, well, guess what? It's okay if you pick up the guitar and it doesn't do much for you that day. Well, guess what? Put it in the guitar stand and leave it alone for a few hours. Go back to it because eventually it's going to bring you back around, you
Good
know?
point.
Yeah.
That's great advice. That's
Yeah.
great advice.
I mean, I remember years, man, that guitar was my best friend. And now, obviously, Kimmy's my sweetheart, my best friend, but I tell people I had to marry Kimmy so that all my guitars could stay my girlfriends, right? So there you
Yeah,
go.
that makes sense. That makes
Yep.
sense. That's a good way to
So
put it.
yeah, man, let's shoot some questions, brother. I'd love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, geez, I definitely want to get to these. Right. One user said that he would love to see you jam with Billy Strings.
Ah, well, Billy
Would
would
that
eat
be
my
something
lunch.
that might be in the stars someday, you think?
I don't know. I'll say this: Billy Strings would eat my lunch nowadays, man. He really would. He is so fast and clean. I love me some Billy Strings, man, and I haven't even had the chance to meet the boy yet, but I would love
Really?
to do that. Yeah,
Well, I'm sure there'll be a chance to. I sure hope there is.
I hope so
And for
too.
his sake as well, especially because I mean you've got so much industry experience as well. I think that would be great for a younger player to,
I just
get the.
I love younger players, man. I remember when I was the kid in Nashville where everybody's like, "Oh man, let's wait and see what Johnny does," and but I always had people in the back of my mind, that would come up to me and they'd go, "Hey kid, I can't wait to hear you when you're 40." And I really do believe that what they meant by that is now that I'm 50, I can answer that question and really tell you what they meant. It's like, man, when you get to really slow your playing down and mature in your playing, mature in melody, mature in how you say what you want to say. I mean, yes, I have slowed way down since the hand and arm troubles, but guess what? I'm listening to a lot of Mark Knopfler, man. I'm listening to a
Oh,
lot of, old Dire Straits records. I mean, man, his tone was flawless back then. Still is to this day, but
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Mark Knopfler's another guy I haven't had a chance to meet yet that I want to.
No, I never have either. But if I ever, I'll make you a deal. If either one of us gets the chance to ever happen to meet Mark Knopfler, we'll
Yeah,
call each other on the phone so we can at least say hi to the guy.
you got it, brother. Yep, you got it. We'll do it. Yep.
That's for sure. So
Oh,
another viewer would love to see you play with Zakk Wylde,
oh
which,
man, I love Zakk too, man. Awesome.
yeah, Zack's
Yeah,
a cool guy. He's a really, really, really down to earth guy.
I'll
It's a
I'll be
lot of
honest
people would
with you
never
guys.
accept.
I'll put a little bug in your ear. Zakk almost signed me to a record deal.
Yeah, really,
Yeah, yeah,
really.
as part of Black Label, and we got real
Yeah.
close to that. But I have obviously talked to Zakk. I've hung out with Zakk a little bit. He's man, what an amazing guy.
Yeah.
I love him
Yeah.
so much, man, and I am a huge fan. So yes, and that boy can chicken pick. Don't let him fool you.
Can he really?
Oh
Does
yeah,
he
bud.
really do some chicken picking? Wow, wow.
Yep,
That is
sure
good to
can.
know. Well,
I
the
love.
people want it. Zakk, the people want it. They want you and Johnny Hiland both
We got to at least
taking
jam it
together,
soon,
trading
man.
licks.
Yeah.
Another question was if you use the pinky on your fretting hand. So I think you've already answered that one, and you basically said that your pinky tends to be shorter than your other fingers, and so
Yeah,
it's
but
not
this is
really.
this is the reason, brother.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, when I was young, as much as I love country music and was learning country music and trying to figure out all those B-bender licks, my dad, man, really hipped me to Skinner and the Outlaws, Blackfoot, and my dad loved slide.
Okay.
So I play 3-finger because in the band I started playing with called Standing Room Only in Maine back in the day.
Oh
I
yeah,
always, yeah, I always wore a slide on my pinky.
interesting.
So, and I now have a Johnny Hiland mag slide on the market. They're the
Do
best,
you really?
very light. Yep, real cool. And so I still play a lot of slide guitar these days, and so that's why I have become a 3-finger player.
I've seen you at Roberts actually. By the
Yep.
time I was like 15 or 16, I grew a mustache, and so I would look old enough so I could actually get into place, and sit down and actually get to see him play for more than just a few songs, like standing at the door with everybody shoving back and forth.
Right.
But I've seen you and heard you play slide live, and first time I saw you play slide, it blew my mind because I'm thinking he shouldn't be playing slide. He's a chicken picker because you know
Right.
you're a kid and you think everything is sort of like segmented, like this person plays this, that person plays that, and all that stuff. And like you're talking about,
Right.
like Zakk Wylde is a chicken picker apparently too. You
Oh
play
yeah.
all different styles. I play all
Yeah.
different styles, and that's really been a cool thing. But there's something about the slide that just gives you a whole different voice with the instrument. That
It does,
you
man.
know.
Yeah, it does. And I will say, man, when I had started the hand and arm troubles, man, and had to really change all of my playing over to a thumb pick. I used to be a flat pick
Oh,
guy. So I had to
yeah.
change my whole playing style up to a thumb pick. And when I did that, what was really funny about that is if I had days that were hurting me bad on the left hand and right hand, I would play a lot of slide guitar. It got me through.
Oh
So
wow. Oh wow.
yeah, a magnesium slide, man. Playmagslide.com. Check them out.
I'll link that in there as well, and I'll link the amplifier and all that stuff in
Yeah,
this
that
video.
jam.
So a couple more questions from Kurt Froberg, 4608, and he's got a couple of really good questions.
All right.
Number one, do you know John Giles?
I don't think so.
He's a big guy in the industry in Nashville and all that stuff.
Yep.
But Kurt's second question, because Kurt used to see you when he would be playing down the road, I guess, like back in the 90s. His second question is, do you need a solid keyboard player?
Not anymore, brother. I don't.
Not
I
before.
really don't tour anymore. So no.
Yeah, I got you. When we're talking in private at some point, Johnny, talk to me about the hands, because my dad went through what you're going through, like starting around age 50 or so, looking back on it, and it ended up actually being neuropathy caused by diabetes,
Oh
and
no
and
kidding.
and yeah, and he lost the ability to feel the strings,
Well, I don't. I can say
and
this, man. I don't think it's anything to do with neuropathy because
okay, good.
mine is actually more like a uh, you know I'm just trying to. It's almost like a carpal tunnel kind of thing. It started out back in the days when I was playing PRS guitars, where I started getting trigger finger really bad.
Oh, geez, okay.
But now my problem, man, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but especially in this arm, you probably won't be able to see it. But when I flex my arm, you see this back part. So I think they call that, tennis elbow kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
think
see what you're
you
talking
got
about.
me.
Yeah.
But let's face it, man. When you're lugging Fender Twins every day, you're in Nashville playing 3 gigs a day, and you're lugging Fender Twins and setting them up, tearing them down, setting them up, tearing them down, and you're playing 12 hours to 16 hours a day.
Wow. Wow.
And then you do that for 9, 10 years. Then you go on the road with your band and you start putting out albums. And I mean, man, when I think of how many heavy amps I've lugged and pedal boards and guitars up, I used to live on the 7th floor of James Robertson Apartments in Nashville, and I would lug
Jeez.
Fender Twins 7 flights.
Holy cow.
So, I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
man,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, brother. For all I've done, I mean, I have played guitar since I was 2.5 years old.
Wow.
50.
Wow.
And the way doctors put it to me is they're like, dang boy, why do you think athletes, man, big time athletes, why do you think they play like a 10, 12-year stretch and then it's done?
That's a good
And
point.
they're like, dude, you musicians don't look at yourselves as, in the athletic sense. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't make athletic money either. So we gotta do what we gotta do, right?
Yeah, so you got to keep going. You got to keep doing
Yeah.
it longer. Yeah.
But my point is, it's like anything else you do in life, man. Like, when you just don't think of the wear and tear you're putting your body through, especially when you're a young man. You just do it.
Good point.
But now that I'm hitting, when I started hitting 45, 46, it was just starting to really, like I'd be playing a gig on stage and all of a sudden my pick would just fly. And my thumb would lock down to the top part of my hand.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, gosh, man. So it's nothing neuropathy based. No.
And
actually, if it comes
that's
to,
really good to know, though.
and when it comes to like diabetic neuropathy or anything, I mean, man, I've lost 170 pounds. So.
Oh, congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I got up to be a really, really big guy back in the day, man. And didn't have any surgery or anything. I did it old school, man. I worked out like a madman and watched what I ate. And so right now, I'm actually under the weight I was when I saw you in 97.
Wow.
Yep.
That is so cool. I've lost 40 pounds, and I know it's not easy.
No.
Like losing weight. I could lose another, 67 and I'd be happy, but I mean, God bless you, man. That's
I've got 40 more pounds to lose.
You got to prioritize health.
I will say this, man. Health is a priority, but also, I mean, I guess two things have really come to mind, brother, and I'll just share it with all the folks because I want y'all to know.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money to tour. In this day and age, especially after COVID hit, bands are not making what they used to make on the road.
Good point.
And it costs, when you're an artist like the Johnny Hiland Band, well, guess who pays for everything?
The Johnny Hiland Band. Immediately.
So when you've got managers, booking agents, your band, rooms, fuel, I mean, it's all on me. And I just got to a point where I was out on the road and I wasn't, the boys in the band made money, the managers made money, the booking agents made money, everybody made money, but Johnny went home in the hole.
Jeez, yeah.
And I said, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore.
That's an unfortunate part of the business that I don't think people really understand. Especially transitioning from sideman to the main act.
Yes.
Also,
you think just because your name is on the marquee that it obviously fattens your wallet, but that's not true. Especially when you're the artist paying for everything yourself.
That's a really good point. Yeah, and it's so different now from like when the record companies would you get $1 million to go and do what you want with, but the problem is you don't pay that back quick enough, and they come looking for it.
Well, it's not only that.
Every meal. Like every meal and all that stuff, it's all coming off that $1 million, and you don't necessarily know it until it's too late.
I'm not going to lie to people, man. When it comes to making guitar records, there are no big advances.
That's very true. Yeah,
I mean, there really aren't, man. And it's I'm not sitting here making excuses. I'm just telling you all the truth as to, most guys would be like, well, just go to the doc, get that carpal tunnel surgery, and get back on the road. Man, I couldn't afford to go back on the road now if I wanted to.
I got you.
But then again, living this studio dream right now is another part of my dream that is happening for me now.
And that's so cool.
So to be honest with you, another chapter of my life has begun. And, I'm thankful for it, brother. I am. I'm making better money right now because I'm keeping myself really busy. Johnny's my own boss now. And I pay, the money comes to myself. I'm not paying 16 other people,
And you're also helping other artists put their music out there so that they can grow as artists as well.
That's right.
That people can hear and experience what they have to offer and what they have to say as well. But remember, Johnny has his own studio and can do everything remotely.
Yes.
And he does. I mean, if you want to hear the quality, check out Gatton Sessions Volume 1 and 2. Number one, the guitar work is just amazing, but remember, all those instruments are him. So if you've got a song and not even a guitar or something like that, he can make it happen for you.
That's absolutely right, man. Kenny Thurman and I will take care of you. If you're a singer-songwriter or you're an artist or maybe you just wrote a song and you want to hear it done.
Good point.
We can do that for you.
We really can.
So I'll let everybody know. My personal email is Hiland, Hiland 007 @comcast.net. Reach out to me. Drop me an email. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to give you. Kenny and I have the best prices on the planet, man, for studio time, because you're really only paying 2 guys to get your song done. So our prices are better than anywhere out there, and we give you the. I'm not going to send you a song tracked by me that I'm not 150% proud of. So it's going to be pro work. It's going to be done right, and when you get the final product, if it doesn't put a smile on your face, then we will make sure it does.
Wow.
So there you go.
Well, how can you beat that? You know,
right.
You really can't. Well, listen, Johnny, let me let you get going. You spent so much of your Saturday with me. I appreciate it so very much. I'm sure everybody on my channel appreciates it so much. I can't wait
My pleasure.
to talk to you again and see you again. But thank you so very much for taking the time out of your truly busy schedule and doing this.
It's my pleasure, brother. And Johnny, I can't thank you enough for reaching out to me, bud. I'm so glad to hear from you, and I'm glad you're doing well, man, and playing guitar, and and most of all, having fun with it.
Having fun with it is the key.
I think, I mean, it really, man, when I tell people I've started a new chapter doing this session stuff and teaching, I do a Facebook Live show every other Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Yeah.
And
so where can people find that for you?
Yeah, it's Johnny Hiland Official on Facebook.
Okay,
and
cool.
I will let everybody know, JohnnyHiland.net has not been updated in a long time because Chris McLaughlin, the man who was running my site, passed of a heart attack.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so I've been looking, and now we're going through a situation right now where I have a new web designer, but we're having hosting issues and a bunch of stuff going on right now. But we are getting to the bottom of that.
Well, good to hear.
Now, if you want to find out what's going on in my life, yes, Johnny Hiland Official on Facebook. I'm posting all the time there, and my regular page, just my Johnny Hiland page on there. And you can also catch me on Instagram. But that email address I gave you folks is my personal email address. So if you are interested in lessons, or you want a song done, or you just want to find out what color T-shirt I'm wearing next Tuesday, so my life is an open book now, man. But I'm having more fun in my life than I've ever known, man. So
I'm so glad to hear.
And
no one deserves it more than you, too.
Yeah, well, and I feel like I'm more open with all my fans now too, and my friends, So because I'm teaching one-on-one, and I'm and I'm doing these sessions for folks, I feel like I'm more open-ended now, and I love that part.
Well, you truly are a wonderful guy. I meant that when I said that before, and
thank you, brother.
You're a lot of things. The one thing you're not is selfish, and I know that I appreciate this so much. I'm sure that everybody here does. So everybody, check out all of Johnny's socials. I'll link all that stuff in the description to this video, so you get his socials, you get straight to his Spotify.
Yes.
The Kiesel guitar page and all that stuff, so you can find him easily. Trust me, Johnny, you are a living legend, and all of us who know you truly are blessed to know you.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that very much, and I'm honored to know you too. And God bless each and every one of you out there. Keep picking, keep having fun, and because that's what music's all about. It really is. But we need to keep chicken picking guitar alive. Y'all help me do that. And Johnny, thanks again for having me.
That's right. Keep chicken picking guitar alive. That's right. That's a good motto.
Yes, sir. That's what I live by these days, brother.
I believe it. I sure hope I can talk to you soon, Johnny. You take care. Thanks again for everything. I'll see you soon, brother.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much.
All right. You got it. You take care.
You too, buddy.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.